Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to give you a quick brief overview of one of my latest acquisitions for my new Alpha 6500. It is the Kipon Baveyes 0.7x adapter that'll convert full frame Canon EF lenses directly to Sony E mount, and I'm using it of course with the 6500. So what this features is for optical lens design that is designed by IBE Optics or something, a German company, and we all know Germany equates quality, right? Well, they have produced something that should technically increase the aperture level of every lens that you stick on there that is full frame and convert it directly, also with autofocus, on my Sony Alpha 6500. I haven't tested this with a Sony full frame yet, but so far testing results have been somewhat mixed. Chances are if you have a newer lens, it's going to work out okay. If you have an old lens, it's not going to work out that great. Now, the reason why I chose this one versus some of the other ones, there is a very popular one also known as Comlight, and that one's about $80 or so. That's super cheap, whereas this one retails about $310, is that this has the optical elements on there. It's got autofocus, and the key point in this one is that it actually has a micro USB port on the side that could give us the potential, note I said potential, of getting more compatibility with more lenses in the future, meaning that there's a bit of an upgrade path that could potentially happen with this Kipon adapter. Okay, now Kipon makes a bunch of other adapters for other systems. This is the first of the kind that I got. I got this one along with the regular one that does not have the lens elements in there, that just basically converts it as well. And I also have the MC11, and the MC11 works great with the Sigma lenses. It is also firmware upgradable. Now this Kipon Baveyes 0.7 with the autofocus costs the most out of the three that I just mentioned. Now it's because I got to be able to use my EF lenses more closer to the full frame level that they would have, meaning that if I have a 50mm, stick it on this adapter, Sigma art lens, and I'm going to get much closer to 50mm than I would if I just use the Sigma MC11. Okay, and I also get autofocus to boot with there. Now, when you get this adapter, it basically just comes in a box, and it just comes as pictured, but it actually gives you two different the two caps, right? One side for the Canon and the other side for the Sony. I didn't see that with the other cheaper Kipon adapters, so that's one thing that I will also notice. Another thing is that the firmware is already installed. I tried looking to see if there was better firmware for it. I couldn't find any. Sounds like they're still working on the next version, and that hasn't been released yet. Plus, the Kipon website's a little bit difficult to navigate, at least on the English side. English side, it's a little bit difficult to find whether or not there's going to be any firmware updates or when it's going to be released. I had to actually do a Google search for it. Now, this adapter is actually sold exclusively on Adorama that I found here in the US. I believe they're one of the more exclusive distributors. But you can also get it on Amazon, and I have links down below if you want to help out my channel. I get a little bit of commission from that. This is not endorsed or sponsored by Kipon or Sony in any way, but if you do buy anything from Amazon, that does help me out a bit. Now, as far as the adapter quality, it seems pretty decent, right? It's definitely meets what my expectations of a $300 some product would be. Now, I have not tried the Metal Bones version of this on the Sony adapter. I haven't looked at it. It's probably going to be about $650, and it's supposed to have much more frequent firmware updates from what my experience is. I do have other Metal Bones adapters, but I use those for micro four thirds. So if you have a newer Canon lens, I believe this is going to work out pretty well for you. I have tested and posted a video of using this with the Alpha 6500 and my Canon 100mm 2.8L macro, and that functions just as good as if I was using it natively or with any other competitive adapters. It was just focusing right on the bat. Okay, now I've tried it with a bunch of other older lenses that were EF mount, some that were designed from the 90s, and early 2000s, those didn't work out quite so well. In fact, some of them actually just wouldn't autofocus. It would just go back and forth. One thing to note is that if you're going to be using this, you can, on the Alpha 6500, you can forget about turning on the optical image stabilization on the lens. My experiences so far with a couple lenses that I've been trying is that you'll want to turn off the optical image stabilization, and on the really old lenses you're not going to get autofocus anyway, so you have to do manual focus on those lenses. Now, I haven't really done a lot of extensive testing with a Kipon adapter that has autofocus but does not have the Baveyes 0.7 lens elements that increase the stop and make it wider. So when I do get around to testing those out, I should be able to test it out this weekend. I'll get back and let you know. I'm going to be pretty optimistic and say that all the ones that work out well are going to work out well, and the older ones are the ones that I'm really interested in finding out. But there's one major thing that is going for it, is that for the Sigma MC11 adapter, if you try to use that with some other EFS lenses, you'll find that it actually physically doesn't fit. They've added a couple of little things on there that makes it so that you can't actually screw those on. So I've done a quick test on a regular Kipon and the EFS, and they all mount and they do work. If you actually use an EFS lens on here and you're able to mount it on the Kipon Baveyes AFS, it actually works. You're just going to get a bit of a crop. Okay, so basically you're going to have the crop in, you're going to have a lot of vignetting unless you zoom in quite a bit away. But it actually melts. You know, that says something compared to what you would find on a Sigma MC11. All right, so that's it for this quick overview. If you want to try it out, I highly suggest that you make sure that the lenses work out well for it. Otherwise, you know, you might have to pay for return shipping, etc. if it doesn't work out for the main lenses you want to do. I'm going to be posting more tests as I go along. So far, I've only had really decent results with a Canon 100mm 2.8L. With the Sigma art lenses, it's just kind of somewhat, I would say, medium to medium fast to medium slow. It's not going to be as good as a native Sony lens. Okay. And you know, I bought this specifically to use with Canon lenses because I do have some Canon lenses, and in the future, you know, I'm still sticking with my Canon full frame for any potential professional work that requires that full frame look, namely low light performance. But I'm pretty optimistic about using the Alpha 6500 with 4K. All right, that's it for this video. Check out and subscribe, like if you want to see more of these. Definitely like and subscribe. You know, that really helps me out since I just started this channel. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.